The discovery in the debris field. Marcus Chen floated through the wreckage with practiced ease, his repair scanner casting blue light across twisted metal and shattered composites. Out here in the abandoned shipping lanes near the frontier's edge, salvage work was lonely but honest. Most days, he found nothing worth the fuel costs. Today felt different. His scanner pinged, strong, clear, unusual. "Well, that's new," Marcus muttered, adjusting his suit's thrusters to investigate. The debris field had been here for months, remnants of what analysts called another pirate skirmish. But this signature was too clean, too purposeful. As he navigated between the floating wreckage, something emerged from the cosmic junk that made his breath catch. A shuttle, small, elegant, and completely unlike anything he'd seen in 15 years of salvage work. Its hull shimmered with an opalescent finish that seemed to shift colors in the starlight. Even damaged, with scoring along one side and a ruptured engine housing, it radiated cracksmanship that put human engineering to shame. Marcus activated his comm. "Base, this is Salvage 7. I've got something weird out here. Sending you visuals now." Static crackled. "Copy that, 7. We see it. We don't have that design in any database. Proceed with caution. An unexpected passenger." The shuttle's airlock responded to his repair kit's universal interface, which surprised him. Most alien tech required specialized equipment or days of analysis. This opened like it had been expecting him. Marcus pushed inside, mag boots engaging on the deck plates. The interior took his breath away. Every surface curved organically, embedded with what looks like living crystal circuits that pulsed with a faint bioluminescence. The pilot's chair was empty, but emergency lights suggested someone had survived whatever attacked this vessel. "Hello," Marcus called out, knowing his translator would broadcast in multiple languages. "I'm a salvager. I can help if you're injured." A sound came from the rear compartment, not quite human, but close. A voice, feminine and melodic, spoke words his translator struggled to process before settling on standard. "You came. I did not expect rescue from the void." Marcus found her in the medical bay, partially concealed behind a stasis pod. She was humanoid, but that's where similarities to humans ended. Her skin held an iridescent quality like her ship, shifting between pearl and lavender. Her eyes were large, entirely silver without visible pupils, and her hair moved with impossible grace as if underwater. She wore form-fitting armor that seemed grown rather than manufactured. She was also clearly injured. Bluish blood seeped from a wound on her shoulder, and her breathing came labored. "Easy," Marcus said, keeping his hands visible. "I am not here to hurt you. I do repairs, salvage. I can fix your ship or get you to a station with medical facilities." Those silver eyes studied him with unsettling intensity. "You are human. This sector is restricted to your kind. How did you find me?" "Restricted? This is just old shipping lanes. Pirates use it sometimes, but mostly it's empty." Marcus pulled out his medical kit. "Look, I don't know anything about restrictions, but you're hurt. Let me at least stop that bleeding while we figure this out." She hesitated, then nodded slightly. "My name is Lyrian. I was traveling when I was attacked." The impossible repair. Marcus worked quickly, applying synthetic skin that his kit assured him would work on her biochemistry. She watched his every move with those unreadable silver eyes. "Your ship?" he said, making conversation to ease the tension. "I've never seen anything like it. The engineering is incredible. What's it running on?" "The power signature doesn't match any reactor typing L." "Quantum resonance cores," Lyrian said softly, "link biological matrices. Your people have not discovered this technology." "Yeah, we're still figuring out how to make coffee in zero gravity without it exploding." Marcus grinned, then sobered. "The damage looks bad. Your engine housing is ruptured and there's scoring on the hull that suggests energy weapons." "Pirates?" "Raiders," she confirmed. "They did not know who I was. They saw only a small vessel to plunder. They learned their mistake, but not before damaging my ship's propulsion systems." Marcus finished the medical treatment and moved to examine the shuttle's engine systems. What he found made his engineer's heart race. The technology was decades, maybe centuries beyond human understanding. But damage was damage, and the principles of energy flow were universal. "I think I can patch this," he said, more to himself than Lyran. Won't be pretty, and it won't run at full capacity, but I can get you mobile. The resonance cores are intact. They just need to be recalibrated after the housing repair. You understand this? Lyran sounded surprised. Your people barely comprehend quantum mechanics at a theoretical level. Marcus shrugged. I don't understand how it works. I just understand that energy needs to flow from here to there without leaking, and right now it's leaking everywhere. The how doesn't matter as much as the what. He spent the next 6 hours working. Lyran watched, occasionally asking questions that suggested she was testing his knowledge as much as helping. Marcus used components from his salvage kit, adapting human technology to interface with systems that seemed grown rather than built. It was improvisation at its finest, the kind of problem-solving that made salvage work addicting. When the engines hummed back to life, barely above idle, but functional, Lyran made a sound that might have been approval. You possess skill, she said. Unusual for your species. Most humans I have encountered are limited in their technical understanding. You've met other humans? Marcus asked, securing the last panel. I thought you said this was restricted space. It is, to most, but some humans have proven themselves worthy of exception. Lyran moved closer, her presence radiating something Marcus couldn't quite identify. Not threat, but intensity. Tell me, Marcus Chen, why do you work alone in the void? A being with your capability could find comfortable positions on any station or colony. Marcus sat back, wiping coolant from his hands. Too many people, too many rules. Out here, it's just me and the problems that need solving. Clean, simple. You prefer solitude. I prefer quiet. There's a difference. He packed his tools. Your ship will get you to the nearest station, but you'll need proper repairs. That means Frontier Station about 4 days from here at the speed I've got you running. Or I can call for a proper rescue ship. No. Lyran's response was sharp. No others. You will guide me to this station. Marcus frowned. Look, I did what I could, but this is beyond my equipment. You need specialists. I need someone I can trust. Those silver eyes held his. Marcus Chen, you have proven yourself resourceful and honest. These qualities are rare. I ask that you see this task through. Something in her tone made Marcus pause. This wasn't just about ship repairs. Lyran was testing him, evaluating him for something she hadn't revealed. But salvagers learn to trust their instincts, and his instincts said this strange woman needed help beyond mechanical fixes. All right, he agreed. But I'm charging standard rates plus hazard pay for the weirdness factor. Lyran's expression shifted into something that might have been a smile. Agreed. Though I suspect the compensation I can offer exceeds her standard rates. As Marcus guided his salvage ship to escort the damaged shuttle, he didn't know he'd just accepted a job that would change not just his life, but the relationship between humanity and one of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. And he certainly didn't know that the woman he'd rescued was the Empress herself, traveling incognito on a quest to find something her empire desperately needed. A worthy mate. Complications in transit. The journey to Frontier Station should have taken 4 days. It took 7, thanks to 3 unexpected complications that made Marcus question every life choice that had led him to salvage work. The first complication appeared 12 hours into their journey. Marcus's sensors detected a patrol ship on an intercept course. Not human. The configuration matched what databases listed as Velari military vessels, though Marcus had never seen one in person. The Velari kept to their own space, rarely interacting with human settlements. We've got company, Marcus reported over the comlink to Lyran's shuttle. Military configuration. They're hailing us. Do not respond, Lyran's voice came back immediately. Adjust course to heading 74 Mark III, maximum thrust. That'll put us into an asteroid cluster, not exactly safe. Safer than being intercepted. Trust me, Marcus Chen. Please. That please carried weight. Marcus adjusted course, pushing his salvage ship's engines to their limits. Lyran's patched shuttle kept pace. Impressive, given its damaged state. The Velari ship pursued, but the asteroid cluster forced them to slow. Marcus threaded through gaps he wouldn't normally attempt, relying on instinct and 15 years of navigating debris fields. They lost their pursuer in the cosmic maze, but the encounter left Marcus with questions. Want to tell me why military ships are chasing you? he asked once they cleared the cluster. Silence stretched before Lyran answered. I told you this space is restricted. There are those who would prevent me from completing my journey. The reasons are complex. Complex usually means political. I don't do politics, I fix things. Then fix this situation by getting us safely to the station, Lyran replied, a hint of something. Amusement, irritation, in her voice. Your questions will be answered. I promise you this. The second test. The second complication was environmental. A solar storm erupted from a nearby star, earlier than predicted by Marcus's navigation systems. Radiation levels spiked, and the electromagnetic interference played havoc with their ship systems. We need to shelter, Marcus called out. There's a dead station about 6 hours from here. Pre-war construction. Should have enough shielding. They made it with an hour to spare, docking in a facility that had been abandoned for decades. The station's automated systems still function minimally, providing atmosphere and basic gravity. Marcus and Lyran met in one of the empty cargo bays to wait out the storm. It was the first time Marcus saw her without her armor. She wore simple clothing that shimmered like her skin, and without the protective gear, her alien nature became more apparent. She was tall, nearly 7 feet, with proportions that seemed too perfect to be natural. Her movements carried an unconscious grace that suggested either nobility or military training. You're not just some traveler, are you? Marcus asked, breaking the silence as the storm raged outside. The way you carry yourself, the ship, the military escort, you're someone important. Lyran settled onto a storage crate, studying him. Perceptive. Yes, Marcus Chen, I am someone of importance among my people. But that importance complicates everything, which is why I travel with discretion. What are you looking for out here? This isn't exactly prime territory. Just salvage, pirates, and people running from something. Perhaps I am running from something, Lyran said softly. Or perhaps I am running toward something more important. Tell me, do your people have arranged partnerships? Marriage is determined by political necessity. Marcus laughed. Some cultures, yeah. But most humans marry who they want. Why? Because my culture demands I select a mate from among candidates my advisors deem appropriate. Political alliances, genetic optimization, diplomatic considerations. Her silver eyes seemed to glow in the dim light. But I am Empress. I make my own choices. So I chose to search for myself, away from the constraint of the court. The revelation hit Marcus like a physical blow. You're an Empress, as in ruler of the Velhari Empire. That Empress. I am Lyran Safe, yes. 47th Empress of the Velhari Ascendancy. She smiled at his expression. You see now why I could not request standard rescue. Why I needed someone outside the political networks. Marcus stood, pacing. This is insane. I salvage junk. I'm nobody. Why are you telling me this? Because in 3 days of travel, you have demonstrated more genuine capability than a dozen suitors my advisors paraded before me. You see problems and solve them. You don't posture or perform. You simply do what needs doing. Lyran stood as well, moving closer. And because I sense in you something my people have lost. Authenticity. Purpose beyond ambition. Understanding and revelation. The storm passed and they continued their journey, but something had shifted. Marcus found himself talking more, sharing stories of his life. The family he'd left on Earth to pursue engineering work in space. The sailed relationship that had sent him into salvage work. The quiet satisfaction of fixing things that everyone else had given up on. Lyran listened, asked questions that showed genuine interest. She told him about the weight of ruling an empire, the isolation of power, the loneliness of never knowing if people valued her or her position. My people believe strength comes from perfection, she explained as they navigated another debris field. But perfection is sterile. I have watched my empire stagnate, too afraid to embrace anything imperfect, anything unpredictable. Then I met you, Marcus Chen. You improvise. You adapt. You are beautifully imperfect, and you create solutions from chaos. Marcus didn't know how to respond to that, so he did what he always did when words failed. He worked. When Lyran's shuttle developed a power fluctuation, he spacewalked over and fixed it with components that definitely weren't designed for Valari technology. When his own ship's life support hiccup, he rerouted the system in ways that made the manual obsolete. And Lyran watched, silver eyes tracking his every move with an intensity that made him self-conscious. The third complication came on day 6. Another ship appeared, but this time it was Valari, and it broadcast on all frequencies. Empress Lyran safe, your presence is required. The court has declared your absence a security concern. Return immediately, or face breach of Imperial protocol. Lyran's response was calm but firm. I acknowledge the court's concern. I will return when my task is complete. Until then, I invoke my right as Empress to pursue personal affairs without interference. Empress, this human is not appropriate. This human has shown more capability and honor than most nobles I know. Stand down. The Valari ship retreated, but Marcus could see tension in Lyran's posture. I'm going to cause you problems, aren't I? He said quietly. You already have, Lyran replied. You have challenged everything I thought I knew about strength, about capability, about what makes someone worthy. She turned to face him fully. Marcus Chen, I came into this void searching for a mate who could match me. Someone who saw challenges and met them. Someone who valued action over appearance. I did not expect to find this in a human salvager. Marcus's heart hammered. Wait, are you saying? I am saying that I believe you are what I have been searching for. Someone genuinely capable. Someone who sees me as Lyran, not just the Empress. Someone imperfect and real, and exactly what my empire needs to remember exists. That's crazy. I'm nobody. I fix junk in space. You saw an impossible repair and completed it. You navigated dangers with creativity. You treated me with respect but not reverence. You are not nobody, Marcus Chen. You are exactly somebody. Lyran moved closer. But I will not command this. I can only ask, would you consider joining me? Not as a subject, as a partner, as someone who could help me remember that perfection is less valuable than authenticity. Marcus stood speechless. An Empress was proposing what? Marriage? Partnership? To a salvager? But as he looked into those silver eyes, he saw something that made the decision simpler than it should be. He saw someone lonely, someone brave enough to search for genuine connection in a galaxy full of political calculation. I don't know anything about being royal, he said finally. I don't know anything about fixing ships with spare parts and improvisation, Lyran countered. We will learn together. They reached Frontier Station the next day. Instead of parting ways, they sat in Marcus's ship, talking about possibilities, about what it meant to bridge two cultures, about whether love could develop from respect and shared purpose. Marcus eventually said yes, not because Lyran was an Empress, but because she was someone who valued what he could do, who saw his imperfect solutions as strength rather than weakness, someone who needed his particular kind of capability. And if that meant leaving salvage work to become an Imperial consort, well, he'd figured out harder repairs than cultural integration. Probably. The wedding, 6 months later, was attended by both Valari nobility and a surprising number of human salvagers who couldn't believe one of their own had landed an Empress. Marcus wore formal armor that felt ridiculous, but Lyran wore a dress embedded with crystal circuits that made her look like starlight given form. And when the ceremony concluded, when political alliances had been sealed and diplomatic treaties signed, Lyran whispered something in Marcus's ear. Thank you for repairing more than just my shuttle. Marcus grinned. Standard rates plus hazard pay for the weirdness factor. Though I'm thinking I got the bear deal. They had, both of them.